Okay, again, I'm Robert C. Dupree, and I want to bring to the American people again attention concerning still about a lot of the frauds and things behind the walls of the courts from my own personal experience. And, and like I said, despite many of the individual and entities and things that I have got involved in trying to get assistance from and help and different lawyers and whatever it is, it apparently appears that no one wants to have anything to do with this here. So, for whatever their reasons are, some of them talked about was out of jurisdiction. Some of them talking about they're not able to do anything. Some of them talked about, well, we are just what we call peoples who are just volunteers and all kinds of different reasons as to why they don't want to address the issue involving with fraud and conspiracy here on the court involving in this situation and dealing with what I'm speaking about. Even though this is not a lawsuit against General Mills directly, yet General Mills is still involved in this indirectly, because now we're talking about new defendants, which is corporate Lamar's advertisers. The big billboard publishers and people who put stuff out here to communicate through billboards and stuff here, both here in the Kansas City area and also up here in Louisiana, in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, which is their corporate headquarters and things is. And now back here in January the 27th of 2016, January 27th of 2016, this judge down here, Gary Feener, in my case involving with Lamar's advertiser, and when they closed that case, even though he had no business being on this case because of my prior complaints against him back in 2011 for lying, withholding information when he was over the case involving with General Mills. Well, this new lawsuit involving with Lamar's advertiser and him, well, my complaint and suit against them is because they're lying, saying that the information on my website against General Mills and them were not accurate, and they saying that, well, if that I could prove that it was, well, then they will let me go ahead on and have this posted back here on the billboard, and that was back in 2015, so forth, concerning the issues about with General Mills, racial discrimination, and so forth. However, after they refused to do this here in the courts here, after I filed suit and got them into the federal courts, and they pulled my case back up over there and so forth, well, they had closed it after a period of time, as I stated earlier. Now, keep in mind, the case never was reopened after this Judge Feener had closed it back here January 27 of 2016. Well, I got something very interesting that came from the United States Court of Appeal. These are legal documents here. And it was dated April the 18th of 2017, just recently here. And what it has on here concerning the district court, and keep in mind, this case never was reopened or reinstated, but this is what I had received here. And it states here, the district court clerk has transmitted a notice to appeal in the matter as we have docket it under the capturing case number that's shown above. And the capture case number shown above, it was 17-1817 here. And please include the capturing and the case and all correspondence or pleadings submitted in this court. In other words, what they were saying here is that the district court had submitted this case to the Court of Appeal, even though this case had not been reopened or re-established in the regards or resubmitted back into the court of its original jurisdiction, which is the United States Court of the District Court downtown here in the Kansas City area. And then what's also ironic about this here, it states here concerning the order also about $505 that appellee, which is myself, have to pay. Now, anyone that knows anything about involving dealing with courts, of course, unless you got a special form that you have to fill out in order to prove and show where you're not able to pay the $505, which is not in this case here, but they had put this case and transformed it up here to the United States Court of Appeal, saying that the United States District Court had appealed this up over to them, and this case had never even been reopened. But yet, they alleged that I have to also pay this court cost around here and filing fees of $505 around here by May the 9th of 2017. And when I addressed that issue concerning a lot of the conspiracy and fraud, this is what another motion here that I have filed here and also submitted and sent up to not only just the district court, but also to the Court of Appeal up here into the United States District Court and the United States Court of Appeal for the 8th Circuit. And I got down here motion in strong opposition against appeals from U.S. District Court for the Western District of Missouri, Kansas City, and the case number here referring to this judge down up over here, this Gary Feiner. His case number here is 415-CV00629-GAF to the United States Court of Appeals for the 8th Circuit, dated April 18th, 2017. And they got a new case number that they have given to me. And keep in mind, this case had never been reopened, and this case had never been reinstated, whichever. And it was given a case number, a new case number. And the case number is, as I stated earlier, 17-1817. Robert Dupree versus Corporate Lamar's and Advertiser. And this was an order. Okay? And it speaks about, a regard to, filing a motion and trying to get me out of the court of jurisdiction. And the reason why they're trying to get me out of the court of jurisdiction is because they know that I have like complaints and things against this judge down here, this federal judge down here in the Kansas City area. And according to law, I have the right to remain in this case down up here in this court as a court of jurisdiction. But however, they want to remove this here, trying to protect and trying to keep things hush-hush and quiet and put me in another area around up over here, which I had stated here, and which is another criminal attempt, conspiracy, and fraud on the courts. And I demanded that this case will be reinstated into the United States District Court for the Western District of Missouri Division, okay, and to go before a juror trial. Something that they don't want. Something that they will not and did not let me have for over the past 15 years of my continuous ongoing battle. And let me finish what I was saying here. Okay, which I demand that this will go before a juror trial and all relevant evidence say be presented in compliance to the 7th Amendment rights of the Constitution and the Missouri Constitution Article 1 and Section 8. Regarding juror trials and regarding having your right in a civil matter to go to a juror trial. So, my point I want to bring out to the American people, still a lot of the corruption and conspiracy and stuff behind the walls of the court, and this cause of action that General Mills and these folks that is behind, they do not want the American peoples to be aware of. They don't want this to be known. They want it to keep hush-hush. And as I stated previously, everybody knows about this here, referring to certain key people in position who could say or do something about this. But however, they're not, for whatever the reason, their purpose. And like I said, and when my main concern is that when people's in the position of authority, judges and lawyers and folks around here that can supposed to be upholding the law for the rights of the peoples and the good of the peoples, yet they pervert the law and want to do whatever it is they want to do to try to protect and cover up and pretend that everything what they're doing is right when they know they have in violation of civil and constitutional rights behind the color of law, which is criminal. They feel like, oh well, this is my word, this plaintiff Dupree's word versus these other entities and lawyers and judges and peoples who are trained and skilled in the law. Well, then my main concern is, if this is what's going on in this cause of action, and it is, well then what about the American peoples and those of us out here who are still struggling for our rights and things to be upheld, and then when it's been discriminated against and trying to go into the courts and stuff around here to get our rights upheld, and then we find ourselves being discriminated against behind the walls and the color of the law and stuff around up here. Well, then where do we stand at? Where are our children, our siblings? So my point I wanted to bring out is that I demand that this case here will be reinstated and to get back into the courts and be heard before a juror, other than just certain lawyers and judges who are more or less covering for each other in this cause of action. And this cause of action now, I have new defendants. It's Lamar's advertisers, the big billboard peoples around here, and entities and stuff around here, and their attorneys and stuff around here, who's also aiding in the conspiracy along with the judge and stuff around here. And I have evidence to show and back up what I'm saying. I'm not just posting stuff out here just being foolish. I'm not posting stuff out there just being crazy. As a matter of fact, according to the Missouri Constitution, say Article 1 and what's that, 8, if I'm looking at this over here, down here at the last paragraph around here, it's speaking about, you know, to have a juror, that this case and the evidence and things will be presented before a juror and also before a judge or the courts, that the evidence and the laws and things will be, you know, presented. This is what I want, and they're refusing to give me my rights to a juror trial. And if this type of injustice has been practiced and going on behind the laws and the walls of the courts and things around here, well, come on. Where is justice? So anyway, from my own personal experience, this is what I want to share, and I'm still taking legal action in this matter.